up. So we all ready, guys?
Yep.
I'm ready. I've been ready for like 10 minutes, man.
Fair. Hey, give me some time. I just got back home from work. I'm still setting up. I just had a quick dinner.
Fair.
All right.
All right. Anywho, what's going on, ladies, gentlemen, all you wonderful people listening in? Welcome back to the General Geekery podcast.
Woo! Yeah.
This is, of course, the podcast where we love to geek out about all that we love to geek out about with no remorse.
No regrets.
And with all of the enthusiasm in the world.
Indeed. I don't know why I'm doing it so creepy this time. Sorry.
It's okay. We have a lot of energy to give off. It has been a month since we last recorded an episode, and I do want to start things off by apologizing to all of our regular listeners and everything like that. Because of that,
all four of you.
Bro, stop short selling us.
I don't follow these statistics at all, honestly.
But
No.
But to all of you that have been listening in and are followers of the podcast, we apologize for not posting in a while. There have been a lot of complications in the past month or so that prevented us from being able to record due to trips out of town, real life events happening, and we would like to apologize for that. And we thank you guys for your continued support and patience. Thank you very much.
Yep. Sorry for having a life. You know.
And we'll start the episode off saying, if you guys like everything that you've been listening to on this episode and you want to help support the show in any way, shape, or form, you can check out our Ko-fi and Patreon links in the description of this episode at any time. But other than that, let's sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. As always, I am your resident coffee ninja by day, actor, gamer, and streamer by night. I am Donald Kaczynski. Joining me, as always, she is our artiste extraordinaire, our dice slinger magnificent, and our resident video game inept. Ladies and gentlemen...
inept.
Quite inept. Ladies and gentlemen, Hannah Kubiak.
Hello.
And I'm proud to announce that we have a special guest with us today. Do you want...
Neil Patrick Harris, everybody!
Oh my god. Gosh, can you imagine?
Hello, it's me, Neil Patrick Harris from How I Met Your Father.
Do you want me to introduce you, my friend?
Yeah, look. I am Sam Olsen. I am a competitive Smash Brothers player in the state of Wisconsin. I go by the tag Meden, M-E-D-E-N. If you don't know what that is, it's from a little game series for the PSP. I've been competing and just also doing miscellaneous stuff like organizing tournaments for the past, I'd say 4 years. Been a blast so far.
Yep. I wanted to bring Sam onto this episode. They were a good friend of mine. We've known each other for about roughly 4 or 5 years now.
I think it was. Yeah, let's say 5. Yeah, because I met you. You were one of the first people I met at UWM's club straight out of high school.
Yeah, I remember that because it was your freshman year of college that we first met, and it was my last year or so at UWM. So it had to be around tail end of 2016, 2017-ish. I would have to say 2017. Yeah, okay, that sounds about right. So today I wanted to talk about just the concept and the importance of competitive gaming and the communities that we happen to build around it. And I figured bringing in someone who is a figure and a voice in Wisconsin's Super Smash Bros. Competitive scene would be perfect to jump on this. So, Sam, you, like you said, you compete in Super Smash Bros. Tournaments in Wisconsin and out of state whenever you get the chance. I know you've done some traveling. So, which games do you primarily focus on in the Smash franchise?
So, the ones I primarily focus on... the first one I got into was Smash for Wii U. However, since that one has since gone by the wayside because of Smash Ultimate coming out, Smash Ultimate has been my primary focus, I'd say, for the past couple of years. However, recently I've also gotten into Project Plus, which is a mod for Super Smash Bros. Brawl, if you remember that one for the Wii. It's a mod that makes it play more like Super Smash Bros. Melee for the GameCube, however, with a lot more bells and whistles, and that game's more competitively tuned, so I'd like to shout it out as well online. Sure.
Yeah, absolutely. If you guys don't know the history behind like competitive Smash and everything like that, I always recommend the Smash Brothers documentary series on YouTube for like a more detailed kind of thing of like how competitive Smash came to be about, like nationally and internationally. It's good for like a general info kind of thing if people are intrigued by it. That documentary is now 10 years old now, but I think it's still like a viable piece of information of people that want to see how all this came about.
Yeah, the Smash Brothers documentary is on like how a lot of people got into competitive Smash. It's actually how a lot of people got into Melee specifically, because that still has a very, very strong ongoing scene.
Mm-hmm.
And my goodness, as you said, it's like 10 years old at this point. It's also a pretty long watch, but I would say for like a historical perspective, it's pretty worth getting into.
Yeah, because it details like the so for those that don't know, Hannah especially, because Hannah's basically
you
in
can just assume that I don't know anything that you're telling.
Yeah, you
anybody
said
in this episode.
Right. You said like at the beginning that you don't know anything about it. So Hannah, before we go on to this, I know I had you play the original Super Smash Bros. For Nintendo 64 for an episode of Inepticon on stream. What?
Yes.
Is there any other? Have you been exposed to Super Smash Bros. In any other way outside of that? In any of the other games?
In Super Smash Brothers in general? Or
Yeah. Yeah, just in general. Have you
Oh.
played any of the other games?
Yes, I think so. They all blend together in my mind. I've definitely played Super Smash Brothers before, like one of those. It was called Melee or something.
Oh, you
just
did
get
play
in there and
Melee.
Just try and kick each other's butts. Yeah, is that an actual thing? We go like Melee. And then,
Yep. Melee is the second game in the Smash Brothers series, and it's considered by many to be the crown jewel for a lot of people.
awesome. I played the crown jewel. I didn't even know it.
Well, primarily because there's like a lot of different like technical sounds and whistles to it that make it perfect to like for people that really like to break games and like make it move as fast as possible. Melee's almost kind of like a perfect fit for them.
Yeah.
And it's really that was really the game that started off like the competitive nature for Super Smash Brothers. That was the game that like competitive gaming for this specific franchise kind of revolved around.
Yeah, I really enjoyed the one that we played. Which one was that?
We played
We played for.
we played the original one for Nintendo 64. That was the first one.
Oh.
So,
Awesome.
so the leap between the Nintendo 64 Super Smash Brothers and then the GameCube's Super Smash Brothers Melee, it was such a different feel comparing those two games together, because not only did so many characters get added, but also there were also a lot of added mechanics and movements that couldn't really be obtained with the hardware that the Nintendo 64 provided. Now, Sam, I gotta ask you, out of the two games, for you personally, which one feels a little bit more natural to you, Melee or 64?
Oh, 100 times over Melee. 64 feels like I played like every Smash game, like obviously like casually, or sometimes people will bring like 64 something to random events. And 64, as Donald said, it doesn't quite have like all the added mechanics. Like for example, there's like no side B, there's no directional influence. I'm not going to get too much into like the nerdy technical stuff, but for the most part, it's just this like slower paced game with like, if you hit someone in Smash 64, the window you have to hit them again is massive. And in Melee, it's fast paced. Like if you hit someone, you gotta like either A, be confident that you hit them so you can hit them again for a combo, or you just like, you have to be like quick on your toes all the time in Melee. While Smash 64 is so much slower, and I prefer the quicker pace.
Yeah, I do have to agree with that. And you can just feel it just by playing the games like back to back. Like you start off with 64 and then you follow up with Melee. You can feel just it's way beyond night and day. It's like a passage of years, like in the time span of like 30 seconds. You feel like you just went through like the time gate or something. But yeah, but a lot of people, the Smash Brothers scene in particular is kind of a fascinating look in terms of like competitive gaming, because it was originally meant as a party game that a competitive scene was unintentionally formed around. It was originally meant as a party game that people took competitively and tried to break it down to its technical aspects and created this entire fighting game community that was never originally meant to happen.
Right. It's like interesting because like I think it just comes to the core fundamentals of being a person, right? Like you boot up Smash Bros. Like in your basement with your high school buddies, you know, and you have one of them that like wins like a small portion more games than the others, and then like you go home, you're like, dang, I want to beat him next time, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so you like intrinsically like have like a competitive nature, even though it is like a party game, right? And this is like a game where you can have like Donkey Kong beat the absolute tar out of Pikachu with a baseball bat, and at some point, one was like, I want to be able to do that the best.
And I think you had a moment of that, Hannah, when we were playing 64 for Inepticon. When I had you go through the solo mode, I saw in your eyes a moment where like I just want to beat this. Like, how dare they do this to me?
Wait, you mean the one where you face every other person, or whatever it is?
Yep,
every other character?
Yep, that's like the single player mode. I know you had a
You
moment
mean like Nenga yourself? Yeah.
Yeah, I know you had a moment where you're like, I can't let it end like this. I need to overcome this. I forget which one it was. It was the Samus fight.
Yeah, where I was playing Samus and it was against the other Samus.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I want to be able to do all the things that AI is doing as the same character as me, but just way better than I am.
That's the kind of feeling that Sam's talking about, but as opposed to like you in the game, it's you and another individual.
Yeah.
In a way, that's basically what the competitive nature is, to out-better what you be better than where you currently are and improve yourself. And I think that's kind of like the original fundamental of competitive nature in any kind of like competition. That even though there is an opponent that you want to do better than, you at the end of the day, you want to do better than you currently are right now. And that's the drive for most anybody that does competition, whether it be through video games, sports, or heck, even card games.
Oh, yeah, card games. I mean, I would say that I really enjoy those like living card games kind of things where like Netrunner, Legend of the Five Rings. There's this game called Star Wars Destiny that was really big a while ago, where you have cards and then you also have dice stuff. So I understand that, like wanting to hone something, like your abilities, or like make your sort of improve your deck that you're bringing to places. You know, just want it to be like this well-oiled machine. I understand that.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of similar with video games where you're just kind of like, you want to get those combos down.
Yep.
Yep. Okay.
Exactly.
Cool.
Exactly.
I found my connection here. I can understand you people.
All right, she found the code, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, funny enough, I can like get the card game analog as well, because like I do play Yu-Gi-Oh, and although I haven't gone to locals to like strut my stuff, I do get like the want to like bring this, like as you said, well-oiled machine. Be like, oh, I have all my combo pieces, I have my deck building strategy, my ratios, and all this stuff.
Yep.
I've gotten back into Yu-Gi-Oh too. I have found a new local to go to. I haven't been able to go yet just because my work days overlap with it. But I've almost got a deck built ready to go flex my stuff. It's been years since I've gone to a tournament, and it's that competitive drive, that anticipation of like, I'm so excited to like do all this again.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it like I said, to better oneself is really important of it, but I think it's also because of the second aspect that being competitive revolves around, is that you become part of a community. Now, whether you become part of it or you start one on your own, I think is kind of like the most important thing, like just when it comes to gaming in general. Like, like we said, I play Smash as well, but I've been out of the scene for a while. Sam, you've been part of like the Smash Brothers scene in Wisconsin for roughly around 4 years now, and you've been like a constant fixture in it for a lot of different reasons.
Yeah, so it is like the fun part, as you said, it's like you could join like a community, and when I first like started going to like tournaments that weren't just like the ones held at like a local club, it was like at first it was like a little weird, right? Because I don't know anybody, they don't know me. I sit down next to them, and like sometimes like to get into a community like that, you got to get people a reason to be invested in you, right? The way I had to do it was I had to win, right? I had to like that was kind of like my driving force at first, is because I would play a bunch of like really good players and I wouldn't quite beat them. I would just like against ranked players, I would get like super close and I would never quite seal it myself. So when I started like actually like adding those numbers next to my name, starting to give me like results, people like kind of take notice, and then all of a sudden they're like, oh hey, are you so and so? Or and then you know you kind of can join the community that way. There's some people that just join the community by being like big personalities, like just being honestly being a big lovable goober goes a long way.
Yeah, that's where mine came in. I definitely came in more like the personality route, just because so we might as well just start from the beginning of where we both got grassroots into like starting into this. So like Sam said, we both come from our college of the University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee, and around the time that I was there, a Smash Brothers club was founded. Shout out to Joshua Montanimi, the founder of the club. Wherever you are, Josh, thank you for creating this club. It's still going alive and well. Sam has carried on the torch for several years now, and hopefully we can continue it even further. But I started attending that club right around the end of the first year, like the second year of its existence, and it started off as like more of like a casual kind of thing. But as more and more people from the Wisconsin area, especially around Milwaukee, that constantly go to like tournaments and stuff like that, started attending, and people found it a legitimate way to practice and learn matchups against their peers and everything like that. It was more of like a relaxing kind of atmosphere to like really get to know one another and figure out like how you can play. Which
right, like UWM's always like it's kind of got like a small reputation of, it is, as you said, like relaxed, but also it's got this reputation of just like it's goofy. Everyone who comes from it is just a goober. Like you get a mix of both the good player and like the personality from UWM, which is part of what like makes it kind of unique identity, if you ask me.
Definitely. It also really helps that like several of us that are in there were in a lot of the different art schools, to be honest. Like oh man, I mean, I came from theater. Several people came from like art or isn't there someone who's attending the club right now from like the dance department at UWM?
Oh yeah, Isaac. Yeah, he's from the dance department.
Yeah, I remember him. He was doing a dance routine to, I forget which Michael Jackson song he was using at the time, but I saw the video of it. That was killer.
Thriller?
No. Oh, dude, it's gonna kill me. It's really gonna kill me. I'll have to like deep dive.
Got to be starting something.
I think maybe that.
How to get over, yeah. Too low to get under.
Yeah.
Was it that one?
Maybe.
Did I do that for nothing just now?
Maybe.
It might have been Remember the Time. I don't know.
Right.
But I don't remember. But that's just to illustrate. We get people from like a whole bunch of different walks from life. It started really going off when a large group of like the Smash Brothers community from the Milwaukee School of Engineering started coming by every so often, and then we would have intramural like interschool play between places such as MSOE or even Marquette University. You guys started getting people more from Marquette like at the tail end of 2019, even unto now.
Yeah, we've even like outreached a little bit further. We've talked to people from Concordia.
That's right.
Yeah, CUW, and we wanted to do something with UW Whitewater, but that kind of just ended up fizzling. We probably will pursue that again in this upcoming semester because Whitewater's got its own like little growing scene up there.
Yeah, Whitewater's been growing in that too, and I was my younger brother Zach went to Whitewater, and he was telling me about that around the time of like 2018, 2019, that Whitewater scene was growing as well, and it's kind of amazing how in the past several years, Wisconsin, in terms of like its Smash scene, has just been growing like closer and closer together, even though it's so far apart, and especially with like how gas prices are now, like it's tough to like travel to tournaments even like through carpool. It's kind of amazing just like how many regulars appear in the scene to just get together, play games, and just have a good time. Just show up, represent.
There are like certain individuals that will just like, there are some people that they're known well as fiends that will go to like everything. Like if you like, I could like on a whim host a tournament in like the sticks, right? I could be like, all right, I'm gonna host a tournament in, I don't know, I can't even think of like a small place. Let's say like my hometown. I'll be like Mount Horeb, Wisconsin. And those fiends, they will show up, which is like just so fun, just like so fun and cool, right?
Mm-hmm. And I think that just goes to show like the passion that they have for the game and that the community that you guys build. So back on UWM's Smash Club scene for a minute, you took over as president for the club around 2018, 2019-ish?
I think it was like spring of my 2019-ish, because it was like the spring of my sophomore year.
Mm-hmm.
And I took over from the former president, Ryan Wires. God bless his soul, wherever he may be.
Miss you, Ryan.
Miss that guy so much. And it was like interesting at first, right? Because I went from someone who never had a responsibility in their life, and like at the time I was like, this is a big deal, right? Even if it is quote unquote just like a gaming club, right? Truth be told, like now in retrospect, I'm like, yeah, this isn't that much work to maintain. Truth be told, I have to just fill out a couple forms. I have to get a room for every Friday. However, I remember it was like such a like big deal, and my first thought was like the people before me like laid such a good groundwork, and I want to improve upon it. And so even though like EWM doesn't quite have the stuff that other University of Wisconsin universities have, because student involvement here is a little weird, I like to think I've like done it like a decent amount. Like we have plenty of people who aren't even like students who hear about it and they're like, I want to run in games, right? Like there are players, I could like list so many of them at the moment, that don't even go to school there, that come and get games, and they go to tournaments, and ever since attending EWM, they've just substantially improved in their strides.
Yeah, I mean, you get players that come in that are in high school or even middle school.
Oh yeah, there's like this, that reminds me, yeah, there's like this carpool of literal high schoolers that come to UWM if, on one condition, if it's raining, because they have tennis practice on Fridays, that they can come if it gets canceled.
You're kidding!
Yeah.
Oh, I love that.
I was like, oh, this carpool of people, they come at the most random times. And I was talking to like the main driver, who's like because usually it's, I'm just gonna list their tags. Usually it's 3 people. Napkins is one guy's tag, Soup King is another guy's tag, and Puddles is the last one's tag. Like Napkins and Puddles are like brothers, and Soup King is like Napkin's friend. And they probably all had to have met through like tennis, save the brothers, obviously.
Right.
And I remember asking him, it's like, hey, why aren't you guys able to like come down every Friday? I'm not like picky, right? I was just like curious. It's like, why do you guys come so randomly? And you're like, oh, we can only come if tennis practice gets, which made so much sense. I was like, oh, that's not why you guys are here during the winter, but not during the spring.
That is that's so funny.
It's hilarious, and I love it.
I find it amazing like that, like how people can just find each other, like, and find common relations of like what they like just through the weirdest of circumstances. Who would have thought they would have gotten together to play Smash Brothers in a competitive way through practicing tennis?
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
It's just insane. Which is funny because, it's a fun fact, you know, like tennis and like Smash are more interlinked than you think, because there are like books written by former tennis players or even like tennis coaches that are like that talk a lot about like competitive mindset and all this stuff and like how to improve your improvement mindset. And like those books are often cited by even like pro Smash players as like good, like great reads. Like even I think like one of them has gotten a voucher from like Mewtwo King before. I could be wrong. But,
Oh my! From one of the gods of Melee?
yeah, because it's very similar. It's like weird because you have like a video game and you have a sport, but the competitive mindset is so similar between them because they're both individual sports. It's not like I'm doing like a book about like being a basketball player, right? That's a team sport. You know, you got 5 guys on the court and you gotta know how to rotate around the bench, coach it, whatnot, yada yada. However, in like both tennis and Smash, it's just you and the other person across the court or sitting next to you.
Unless it's doubles.
That's really interesting.
Yeah.
I can only imagine, especially in like the major tournaments that are like, because it's gotten to a point right now in competitive gaming that if it's any kind of like competitive games, especially fighting games, like the amount of production value that goes into like major tournaments on Twitch with like the big stages, like the individual setups instead of like 2 people like huddled over the same like the same TV in certain situations. Like there's been such an advancement in like investing in competitive gaming now in 2022 or even in like the past 5 years than what was even possible like before pre-21st century or anything like that.
Right. It's like crazy. Like I actually have an experience kind of like with high production value because last September I was at this tournament. It's called Riptide. It was held in the Kalahari in Sandusky, Ohio. It's what's known as like a super major, where think of it like there's like terminology for like how big the tournament is. There's like a local, which is like I'm talking like UW Milwaukee's tournaments or the ones that are running like the bars in Wisconsin.
Right.
Then there's regional, where you try to pull people in from your state or nearby states to come in. There's major, where you try pulling like a good chunk of like your country, or in some cases like smaller countries, like your whole country. Super major is like international, right? Like even like after small COVID difficulties, there are still European players, there are still Japanese players at Riptide.
That was what was incredible to me. Just like getting that many names in this kind of like world that we live in with like all the travel restrictions that technically were in place still at the time.
Yeah.
That's what was incredible to me.
Right. And so Riptide, obviously being something called like a super major, they had to up the production value. And funny enough, I got a match on like one of their streams. They had like a couple streams.
I was so happy that you managed to get on stream when it was tweeted out. I was crying tears of joy, dude.
Right. I was so thrilled to be up there because I outplaced I wasn't even supposed to make it out of like my pool. And so here I am like sitting on stream with like next to Wadi, who's like a top 50 player in the world. I got my butt kicked, but
it was such a great game to watch too. Just the fact that it wasn't a fact that you were. This is the thing, Hannah. The person he was playing was like top 50 in the world.
Wow. What?
Like
Oh man.
Like of the thousands of people like that play Smash Brothers of a specific game, the person he was playing, Wadi, who's from around New Jersey-ish area,
Virginia.
Oh yeah. MVD. Yeah, that's right. Maryland, Virginia. He is one of the top 50 players in the world. I think he's ranked somewhere in the 30s right now.
I think so, like 30s, late 20s.
Yeah, he's a constant fixture. He's a consistent player, and Sam here had the opportunity to face him on stream, like to showcase how he plays.
Yeah,
Dude.
yeah. I got my butt kicked, but I'm just some Joe Schmo from Wisconsin playing as a top 50 player in the world. But so that's to be expected. But it was still like, I'm very thankful for the experience and learning production value. I went back and like watched the video, and I was like, whoa. A, I looked awesome. Like the cameras are very nice. B, like the stream overlay, the transitions, it was just like incredibly professional looking. And I was just like, this is far different from what I'm used to. I'm used to going to a bar to play at my computer, having people that aren't even there like yell about random garbage in the background.
Yeah. But I mean, that's also part of like the experience of like what makes Wisconsin so unique for us. I mean, there's obviously locals like that everywhere, but Wisconsin is trying to get to that point where we want like more esport competitiveness and stuff like that. And I think a lot of recent venues as of late, Tier 1 in Milwaukee is one such thing, is trying to aim for more of that kind of experience.
Yeah, Tier 1 has like, it's run by this guy named Jordan, another guy named Josh. I talked with the TO. His name is Crappy Apples on Twitter. It's like the dude is like 16 and he wants to be a TO. Like, I cannot say how much like that rules. That's like so cool. And they want to become like the Wisconsin local, and I think with like the facilities that they have and like how much they want to do it, like the biggest thing is if you want your tournament to do well, you can't just be complacent, right?
Yeah.
You have to like want to improve it. You have to like go out of your way like so hard to get the players there.
Yeah.
And Tier 1 like really wants to do that, and I'm like, even though I've only gone to like 2 Tier 1 tournaments due to being like busy and whatnot, I'm so happy that like that is just in my city.
I'm really happy that they popped off with that too, because they actually tried to cash in on more tournament stuff like Ultimate actually. They were trying to do tournament stuff like that, but they were not like you said, like you can't be wishy-washy if you want to be consistent in hosting a tournament and stuff like that, because then if it's not consistent, then people won't attend and nothing will form around it. Because it takes a lot of hard work to like build a sustainable kind of community that is interested in anything, whether it be competitive games or any other topic in general.
Right, like for example, like I am like a part of a TO team for Construct, which is like the longest running Wisconsin local. It was passed off to me and a bunch of other people.
I'm so happy that you took up the reins for that, by the way.
Hey, I will like disclaimer. I'm typically just there for the Ultimate side of things because it's run by more of like the Melee Project Plus community, and it is like a lot of work. Like for example, if the tournament starts at 12, me and the other people are there at like 10. We're setting up tables. We're getting all of our setup stuff ready. We're talking to the venue staff. You know, we have to book it ahead of time. We have like this big spreadsheet that we have to look at to see who signed up online. We have like all this stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it is like a lot of work to do. Like it's not as easy as just getting the venue. You have to like put in the work and like use the space right. You have to, you know, be respectful to the venue. That's been a problem before, and get like the interest of people, right?
Mm-hmm. So Hannah, hearing all this right now, what's going through your mind? Have you ever had like any kind of like previous experiences with any other communities of just like the amount of effort that has to be put in order to like form a community and stuff like that?
You mean like playing games and tournaments?
Well, games or tournaments, or even just in general, because I know the amount of like, because as someone who coordinates a lot of different events and stuff for Voices Found repertory, with like theater and chill and everything like that we do. Like creating a community like that, it also takes a lot of work and coordination in order to make stuff like that happen too.
Yeah, oh for sure. It definitely takes more than you'd think it does to basically, you know, wrangle all of the people and make sure that the tech is working properly and like make sure that you can hear everybody and you know, make sure that everybody has a good time and make sure that the content is good. You know, like. There's just so much you have to keep your mind on. Yeah, I get that.
And I think overall, like, whether it be even though it comes from two different areas, like from competitive Smash Brothers or just the world of performing theater, it all comes down to basically just having a drive and passion for the respective communities that you're a part of. Like. I hold a very distinct, like, weird perspective at being at the beginning of the foundations of both the UWM Smash Club and seeing the genesis of Voices Found Repertory as a theater company, and seeing how seeing how both of them has grown into what they are now from where it all started, while not being a part of like the team originally forming everything, has been such a unique experience, like from the outside. And you can see the blood, sweat, tears, passion, everything that's been poured into something that you can build and you're proud of and build a community around, and to see that basically bear fruit is honestly kind of it brings a tear to your eye.
Right, like I am more than like happy to like always keep improving like upon UW Smash. My big like goal before I like graduate, which is gonna be hard to do, is there's a bunch of other universities in Wisconsin, like aforementioned like Concordia University of Wisconsin, CUW, UW Madison, UW Whitewater. They're all able to like run like paid tournaments, right? And currently UW Milwaukee's club, we just kind of run like a bracket that's like still competitive. We have a stream and everything for it. It's just it basically doesn't count for much outside of bragging rights. I want to like somehow get a tournament started that brings people to like UW Milwaukee that aren't just our club goers, like that could count for like a power ranking system which we have here, or like money, right? Like
right.
Some people want to win the moolah.
Yeah, something that counts towards like overall, like not more than just bragging rights, but actually makes an impact in like the greater scene. And I think that's such a great ambition to have, and I really hope that you guys can pull that off sooner rather than later.
Great. I gotta go. If I have one less semester left, I'm gonna go out with a bang.
Hey, better to go out with a bang than fizzle like a bottle rocket, right? But
it's better to burn out than fade away.
Right.
Sorry.
No, you're good.
You're good.
To make my songs that I am really not old enough to know reference there.
No, you're fine. So yeah, Sam, I wanted to ask him really quick because so
Man.
I think one of the main reasons I wanted to bring you on here, Sam, because you have a unique perspective on a lot of things. Because not only are you a member of the Ultimate's PR, and you're also competing in like other Smash games as well. If I'm not mistaken, you're also part of a huge committee for Wisconsin Smash in general, or at least for Ultimate specifically. Can you elaborate a little bit more on that?
All right, so it is like strange. I was part of what was known as a Code of Conduct committee.
Mm-hmm.
I'm no longer a part of it, mostly because Code of Conduct is basically like the rules you set in place for people. Like, obviously, like if you're at a tournament, bro, like no yelling at each other, no chucking stuff at each other, be civil, right? And a lot of like the Code of Conduct was essentially we had to make decisions on like people who were like unruly or people who like endangered the scene or endangered themselves by being there. It was a very, very stressful like job. Not even job, but I was basically doing volunteer work.
Right.
And essentially, like the reason I dipped is because like that stuff was just so stressful. And currently I am just like, I would say like a voice, mostly just because I'm like, I have like 400 Twitter followers, I guess, and I have a number next to my name when I compete, so I'm able to like kind of have like a voice in the scene. Typically, I use that voice to like advertise people's tournaments or try to advertise my own.
Right, and I think like the Code of Conduct thing, like I was wondering, I was intrigued about that, like how that was going about, primarily because like there are times like in a community if something grows too big, like there's always going to be like one or two like outliers or problems that may persist, whether it be through unruly parties or stuff like that. And how do you strike that? Reverse it. I'm trying to figure out how to word this correctly. How do you generally like approach something like that? Like if a problem comes out like that. Because I mean, a small club is like one thing, but as part of like an entire statewide like community, I can't even begin to imagine like like how stressful that can be.
Right. So typically how, like, we didn't have too many situations pop up. I would say we had like a single digit number of conflicts arise when I was like part of it. I would have to approach it with the whole thing, be like, take Sam out of the equation, just like look at all the evidence and like piece it together and forge my opinion from there. And then fortunately it's a panel, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, oh my goodness, a disaster would be if I was the one single-handedly making decisions, right? Not because I don't think I have a level head, but mostly just because like feedback is important on these sort of stuff. And so I'd form my opinion, and then people would form their stuff, and we'd like piece it together, and then decide where to go from there. Typically, there's a ton of hiccups. Said hiccups were not due to other members of the panel, but for the fact that like, well, none of us were ever on a panel. Really. We were just kind of like trusted members of the scene.
Right.
And so when some cases would handle people that were like I had never met before, right? Like I'd be like, I don't know who this is, and I hope to not know because they seem like they're a danger. And then there's cases of people that were like more prevalent in the scene that like a majority of people knew. And like having to come to the decision on those people is like incredulously stressful because I'm not gonna go into great details because a lot of it's incredibly private.
Oh yeah,
but,
no worries.
Yeah, and like, but with like some cases, it's like, well, sometimes we were fed like a lot of misinformation or not given everything. So when we came to a conclusion, it was like wildly misinformed, and then we had to go get that information, and then have to go back on it, and it's incredibly stressful because we do like full disclosure. We put like our names and everything on there. So if someone got banned, well, my name's on the document.
Right.
So that's what like a great part of the stress game. If it was completely anonymous, maybe I'd probably still be stressed just out of like even decency, but otherwise, like that's like where the big stress comes from. It's like that people might come from me and be like, "Hey, Sam, what the hell?"
Right. Hannah, any thoughts on that?
On like having conflicts go on in a group like that.
Yeah. I don't know if you've encountered anything like that through your time through Voices Found. So.
Oh yeah.
Hey, like it's not super uncommon. Like for the most cases, I wish it was just like, oh, this guy's a jag-off, get him out of here. Like,
yeah.
You know, wish it was that simple.
It's never always. It's
Like...
never black and white. It's never just black and white. But yeah, thank you for sharing your opinion on that. I mean, overall, Sam, like personally speaking, I have appreciated everything that you've done, both as a member of the community, as a player, and just as a friend. Like, you have done so much, I think, for this entire community that you've been a part of, and it's just been so much fun, like, just hanging with you as often as I can. I know I haven't been able to really talk to you as much lately, primarily because life happens and everything, but I think it's just so awesome to, when you become entrenched in a community that you genuinely care about and that you're surrounded by all these people that you create these interactions with, that it just brings a smile to my face.
Right. I would like to say thank you for all that. It's been interesting getting to this point because, like, again, when I first like joined like UW and Smash, I was just like the shy, displaced person who just, I moved from like small town Wisconsin and now I'm at the big city. I don't know anybody. The one thing I know is like I like playing Super Smash Brothers for the Nintendo Wii U, and I see that there's like a little club for it, and I start like just going there. It's like this is my one social interaction for the week because again I don't know anybody, and it's very interesting for having gone to that to like being like, even though like lately my tournament attendance has been pretty low, it's I'm still like this. I like to think I'm still like a pretty vocal member of the community, and it's been like very interesting going from like kind of not zero to hero, but more like nobody to somebody.
I can definitely see where that reference. I can definitely see that. Yeah. I mean, it's weird saying it out loud, but I understand the meaning behind it.
Yeah.
And I can definitely understand, because like it's a part of your life that helped you like grow as a person.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's amazing. So any advice or words of wisdom as someone that basically grew up in like a community or stuff like that, for people that want to like get into gaming either competitively or like even casually or stuff like that, any words of advice in your opinion?
Try to think of like what I'd say the single most important advice I'd give a competitor. And if I had to have one, the biggest point of advice that I started following and it helped me just like improve vastly, just both like mentally and results wise, is don't focus on the results, focus on yourself. Like the number that you get is not as important as like how much you yourself grow as a competitor, because like I would rather take, like for example, I would take a ton of consistent results all gotten from me improving upon myself, as opposed to like a fluke and a bunch of blunders. And that like the latter will come if you're just so result focused, right? It's like I need to win, I need to get this, I need to beat these people, blah blah. That's kind of throw yourself into like a tunnel vision with that, where you'll just like go down this one path and like ignore the greater scape around you. Whereas if you focus on improving yourself, maybe you'll just get the results without even kind of noticing it. You'll be like, huh. You'll look back down like the stairwell of improvement and realize you can't see the floor.
That wow, I wasn't ready for that.
That was deep, man.
Yeah.
Well, that I don't have any more thoughts on that. Hannah, did you want to add any thoughts into that or any questions?
No, I've just loved listening to you guys geek out about this stuff for almost an hour here.
Do you have any thoughts about all this stuff that we've been talking about as someone from the outside looking in? Because you have the most unique perspective out of the three of us in this call right now.
Oh, I wish I had more to say then. I was just listening.
You just
I
say
tend to listen and then form my thoughts.
Yeah, just say whatever comes to mind. It's okay.
Well, I would say that I don't think I'm built for competitive video gaming, but I do enjoy it. I enjoy playing video games in sort of like a no pressure kind of environment. So I'm not competitive. I'm more it's more of a social thing for me. Like I don't really play video games by myself. It's more of a like let's play a video game together kind of.
Yeah.
So that would be my perspective there. Like I really admire people who can do it competitively. I just get panicky. I'm watch some of the clips from Inepticon sometimes. I panic and jump off of like I'll jump off any ledge by accident if I panic.
She'll jump off any ledge by accident. She'll accidentally hit the chat log button instead of the X button to attack an enemy in Persona 5.
Oh gosh, yeah. Oh, where like I freak out and I'm like, oh my gosh, gotta attack now, and then we go to the menu and I'm like, what?
Don't worry.
I just button mash. I grew up playing Mortal Kombat with my cousins. So you just sit there and like jam the buttons, you know, to make something happen. Quick, finish him. Fatality.
What's funny is that the higher up you get in competition, the less that changes. I have been playing I have played like some of the most important matches of my life and sometimes my brain is exactly thinking like, do something, do something.
Just like reject humanity, return to monkey.
Slam my buttons, just like pray it works, and sometimes you do just throw yourself off the ledge and die for no reason.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just video games. And I think we can. I think that's a good place to leave it off. Don't you guys agree?
Oh yeah, I think so.
All right. Sam, I want to thank you so much for joining us for this episode and agreeing to come on the show. I've been wanting to bring you on for a while. Thank you for accepting our invite. Thank you again, my friend.
Yeah, thanks, friend.
No problem. Thanks for having me. I love talking about the video game.
Anytime. Anything you want to promote or anything like that? Where can they find you?
You can find me on exclusively Twitter. I don't have like an Instagram. It's at diet, like diet soda, Meden, Meden, all one word. You can, if I were to like advertise anything else, if you are interested in like Smash Brothers, if you're not in the state of Wisconsin, you can probably find your local scene through a website like StartGG. If you are in Wisconsin, you could go to wismash.com, and that will open up a massive repository of tournaments you can go to in like the Madison, Milwaukee, heck, like Fox Valley, Green Bay area.
We'll have the links for all that in the description of this episode, but that's awesome. Thank you for sharing that with us.
Problem.
And
Good to meet you.
Good meeting you too.
And guys, thank you so much for listening to this episode. This has been episode 118 of General Geekery, talking about
Gosh.
talking about competitive Smash with our guest Sam Olsen, aka Meden. If you guys have been enjoying what you've been listening to on this podcast, make sure to follow us everywhere podcasts can be found. General Geekery Podcast, we are on Spreaker, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and if you guys want to see and listen to all the episodes right from the very beginning where it all started, we have the entire playlist selection available on YouTube at my personal YouTube channel, Anime Rev Productions, link of which is in the description of the episode. You guys can also follow us on social media on Instagram at General Geekery and on Twitter at Gen Geek Podcast. You can find Hannah on Instagram at Python Legume. You can also check out her art on her DeviantArt page, the link of which is also in the description of this episode. And you can find both her and I rolling dice over on Loaded Dice Adventures on Twitch. Hannah is part of the Avenaria Awakening campaigns on Monday, and both me and her appear on Wednesday as part of Avenaria Corsairs. Arr, indeed. You can come and join all the shenanigans on Mondays and Wednesdays, respectively. And you guys can find me on social media on Twitter at RyuzakiMK7, and you can find me on Twitch playing games, playing card games, opening packs, stuff like that, at Coffee Ninja Ryu, the links of which are in the description of this episode. Once again, guys, thank you so much for listening in on us. Sam, we have a tradition on the podcast. I don't know if you've listened in on us, but every time we end an episode, we clink glasses or whatever we have together, saying clink, clink, after always remembering to keep your geek on. So if you would like to join us for it, you are more than happy to.
Sure thing. I don't have a glass on me, but I have an empty can of Diet Pepsi. Will that suffice?
That will suffice. That absolutely works.
I've used a stapler and a picture frame for this in desperate situations, so you're good, man.
I've got my phone and a metal canteen, so we got it. We're good.
I actually have 2 glasses this time.
Let's go!
Because I haven't cleaned my desk. Yay, laziness!
Woo! Procrastination! Thank you guys so much again for joining us for this episode of General Geekery. Until next time, guys, check out your local Smash scene. Always look after one another, and always remember to keep your geek on.
Always.
Clink, clink.
Clink, clink.
Thank you, guys. Have a good night, everybody.
Good night. Or day, whatever time you're listening to this.
Whenever it is.
It's available both ways.